Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. Okay, long story short, and I don't even remember if I mentioned this on part 2. Pretty much I recorded my Invincible Iron Man review, and it crashed, and I lost part 1. So this is me technically re-recording part 1, but you don't know that until I told you. And so there's a lot of stuff that I just lost out and that I can't remember to repeat because I'm still pretty sick. I'm not like dog tired sick, but I'm a bit beat up. And so normally you all know the show is out on Friday. The delay mainly just kicked in because I tried doing it last night and I had 15 different things happen. For you all that don't know, I will be doing the Realms Open Championship podcast named The Quarry. Pretty much the catchphrase I made up was forget approved play, this is ultimate play. And I'm going to have Dan Morand joins on there, and Hunter Smith of Dial H for heroclix fame on periodically after a major event. So there you go. Pretty much I'm doing that, and I'm also doing a podcast with an artist, actually the artist who does the music segment at the end of the show, Wise, for another website. So I'm busy, and what's funny is I've been recording like all these promos for these shows with a voice that sounds like James Earl Jones on a bad day, and people like it, so there we go. All right, pretty much I'm going to give you all the typical rundown like I do on set reviews. I'm only going to look at what I like. I'm not going to bring up the bad stuff because you don't want to hear me waste your time telling you that a figure is bad. I don't want you coming back to me as like, Dark Logos, why'd you talk about blah, blah, blah? Isn't it awesome? Blah, 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 blah. It does this. For general purposes, I'm looking at 300-point meta, and also if it does something creative that changes things in a specific use. So that's the main thing that I really want to focus on. This is not the end-all, be-all, the best characters in all circumstance list, but it's mainly the characters that I think that are worth actually like looking at and breaking down. If you have disagreements, feel free to email me, and I'll probably, email discuss you. And, hey, I won't lie. I've been known to come back and say, hey, I'm wrong. So, yeah. All right. So let's get into it. First off, we're going to look at Silver Centurion. And the main thing I look at Silver Centurion is his defensive opening slot of shape change plus imperv is ridiculous. Like super ridiculous. He also hits on that wonderful, hey guys, guess what? We have that 11 attack, 4 damage, magical new meta ratio. Add in 8 range and 11 movement. He has a huge swing. So we're also looking at a character that is 9 clicks deep, which in modern age standard is ridiculous. Pretty consistent stats. You have some stealth, you have some precision strike here and there, and that's cool. But pretty much we're looking at doing at least 3 damage for a majority of our dial. We have the Pulse Bolt Torpedo, which is ridiculous. Once per game, give Silver Centurion a power action to put a torpedo special terrain marker on the map in any adjacent square. When the torpedo is on the map, you may give Silver Centurion a free action. Put an acceleration token on this card, and then move the torpedo equal to the number of acceleration tokens on this card as if it were a character with the wing symbol, and improved movement ignores characters. At the beginning or end of your turn, the marker square, if the marker square is occupied by an opposing character, you must remove the marker from the map and make a close combat attack roll against the character with an attack value of an 11 and a damage value equal to the number of acceleration tokens on this card, maximum 7. So the one thing that I read it and I think I glossed over is how the heck I get acceleration tokens. But pretty much just put an acceleration token in the card and then move the torpedo equal to the number of acceleration tokens. Okay, but anyway, getting a potential 7 damage is awesome. I mean, even if you don't get 7 damage, just for how it's set up, it's pretty cool, and I actually like it. It really, I look at Pulse Bolt Tornado as gravy. It's not your main meal. It's just gravy. Then there's Heat, Acid, and Radiation Shielded trait, which is Silver Centurion ignores damage dealt by Penetrating Psychic Blast, Poison, and Pulse Wave. Which, when you add it all up, that means pretty much most things that would take him down or wear on him. He's just like, no, I ignore that. Mainly the Psychic Blast, because the Psychic Blast is the big weakness in his armor. Now, I will say that this does mean that we might have to start thinking within the meta. Instead of double side blast or a lot of precision strike, we may just have to say, hey, we're going to use exploit weakness and start, saying, hey, one side blast, one exploit weakness. So I do think that that's one of the best things that does come out of this whole entire situation with Silver Centurion being in the meta, is that you have a reason to play a brick for offensive purposes. Next up is Rescue, and I like this Rescue for a couple of reasons. First off is Rescue has 11 movement, 11 attack. I know 11 attack, it doesn't matter when you have 0 damage most of the time, but guess what? Have that special power of Incapacitate and Telekinesis, which is pretty awesome. She gets that Incapacitate, and that Incapacitate is really good with that 11 attack. She also has TK, so she functions pretty much as a flying TK or incapper. And at 6 range, that's pretty good. Also, she has the I'm not letting you turn me into a weapon. Rescue can use Perplex, but can't modify damage values. So she has no way of giving herself damage. But here's the thing. You give her enhancement, she becomes a cannon, which is pretty cool. Anyway, one thing that is nice is like her pepper to the when Rescue uses the carry ability, she may carry up to 3 single base characters regardless of their combat value symbols, if each isn't on their starting click. Now, where this might actually have potential is if you have the ability to push and then use Rescue as a means of carrying 3 empowered or enhancement figures. I'm throwing that out there. I really am, because I think that maybe, just maybe, if we can get cheap enough empower figures, like maybe 35 points, probably, each, and then sort of stack some other things, I think we can have something really cool. But yeah, Rescue is definitely the girl that's there to save the day. She's an Iron Maiden, but yeah. Okay, let's move on down the line to Dreadnought. The reason why I was talking about that empower wave that could be possible. Pretty much, Dreadnought is nice because at 50 points you get empowered, pretty okay stats, and you also get donate parts, give Dreadnought a power action, heal adjacent friendly characters with the robot keyword 2 clicks, and then deal 1 unavoidable damage to Dreadnought. So overall, you have that, and so it pretty much just means that you can have a point blank heal that you don't have to roll for, and then you eventually can get regen to heal back up so you can keep doing it. So surround yourself with other Dreadnoughts, and you know the cycle continues. Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. But yeah. So I like it because you can, lay some Kung Fu fists down with all that in power. Also, you get Hydra, which actually helps with your ranged attacking. And I think that is, in and of itself, something that allows the Dreadnought to be a lot more flexible than at, first glance. I think a lot of people might actually look at the Dreadnought and say, hey, what am I really going to use this for? And what if my melee option sort of dies down or gets killed? What do I do? I mean, it's still valuable, and it's there, and it can transition into a ranged game piece if need be. So I would definitely say this is like a #1 piece for you to like really look out for. Try to get 2 at least. I'm not going to say get 3 or 5 or 15 like that, but at least get 2 because I do think they can be beneficial. Moving on down to Justin Hammer. Justin Hammer is really good for what he does, and let's look at it. Let's look at his trait. I know all the players. Characters with the armor, Hammer Industries, or robot keyword may be targeted by Justin Hammer's outwit or perplex if they are within 10 squares, regardless of range or line of fire. Now, why is this a big deal? He has old school freaking outwit and perplex. That's what he has. Okay, so that's super awesome. The next thing that it becomes an issue is he doesn't really need line of fire. He can be hiding behind walls and just get you. And we haven't really had that for outwit. And if you're able to give him something like ultimates, which, trust me, there are ways. We all know our good friend Cypher out there. Then he's going to ruin so many people's day. It's going to be so annoying that I hate to say it. He's in this new meta support role because his main goal is to disrupt, not have a lot of clicks of life, not have a lot of survivability, but to just disrupt the battlefield enough. Just enough. So that you have to dedicate energy to killing him. Sort of like Enchantress. Enchantress disrupts the battlefield enough that you have to go and kill her. And definitely with new rules. You can't let Enchantress be alone. Because at 8 range prob and multi-targets and TK and super senses and mystics, you can't let that run rampant. So same thing with Mr. Hammer here. He is investment in the new technological age. And more importantly, and I know you're going to say like, oh, he has keyword limitations, Dark Logos. He can't just get anybody. I understand that. What's really awesome is, guess what you're mainly going to be seeing for at least 2 months? Armor and robot. So I think he's valuable. Going on, it's all above board and legal. Justin Hammer can use Mastermind. He can use it to transfer damage to characters of 150 points or less if they are within 3 squares and have the armor, Hammer Industries, or robot keyword. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So again, he doesn't have super high survivability. It's, because again, precision strike can get past that, and so can pulse wave. So anyway, moving on to Puck. Puck is interesting for his dial, and you're paying 50 points, and Puck isn't as good as the one from the gravity feed. I'm not going to lie. The one from the gravity feed is just straight broken. But this one's pretty good because you have cartwheel. Puck can use charge. When Puck moves in a direct path after his movement ends, if an opposing character occupies the next adjacent square in that path, that character is knocked back 2 squares, and Puck may then be placed adjacent to that character. What's really interesting is that what was that old feat? It's not like somersault, but that's it. Anyway, there was an old feat that would allow you, after you made a melee attack, that you can just flip on the other side of your opposing figure as long as you're adjacent. And I think that this is one of the key things with Puck, which would allow him to plink people into places that they need to be, and then tie up 2 pieces if you're lucky. That's really what it is. He's mainly there for control, and with combat reflexes and quake, I mean, he can do things that are a bit annoying. Now the empower, I'm not really feeling that as much, but it can be useful if you do have sort of this melee-ish team going, and you want to be able to, by chance, give some added damage to another melee figure that's friendly. So Puck's little cartwheel ability would be useful if you use cartwheel and pushed in empower and precision strike. So really, if I was to look at him overall, his clicks 2 and 3 are his best clicks. Yeah, clicks 2 and 3 are probably his best clicks. And I know you're going to say, well, click 1 is pretty awesome, and it's not bad, but clicks 2 and 3 are way better, mainly because of that empower, and I think there's a lot that you can do with that empower. He has that end-dial regen, which and in all honesty, I don't think he's ever going to get used. I think he's always going to get splattered, unless he gets poisoned or something like that. But I think he's going to be, street pizza before he's able to use regen. Now, let's look at the next Alpha Flight member, Guardian. Guardian is, I hate to say this, he's one of those guys that comes in and makes you say, with a hammer you become broken. Okay, and this is why. For 100 points, if you gave him Null's hammer, he would have a 12 attack and Indomitable and leadership with 3 damage, and pretty much would have very good attack stats his entire dial, but again, with +2, who doesn't? And then he would have Indomitable, and that would fix all of his problems. Even without a hammer, he is nice to build around because he has 10 movement, which is good movement, and 6 range, so that gives him 11 swing, 2 targets, that's good, and energy explosion. So his energy explosion will do 2 damage when it goes off, so that's a big deal. His first 2 clicks are his super offensive clicks. His 3rd and 4th click are the, hey, guess what, I'm a team leader, let's try to control the board again. Clicks 5, 6, and 7 really is run, go to the medic, run faster, and shoot while you're running. That's pretty much how I see it. He also has the trait Alphians Unite. When your force includes 2 or more characters with the Alpha Flight keyword, modify their attack values by +1, if not already modified by this effect. When Guardian uses the carry ability, he may carry 2 characters if at least one of them has the Alpha Flight keyword. So I think that in and of itself is nice, just the fact he's able to carry 2 characters, and then he's also able to modify attacks, and he doesn't say he has to be adjacent or anything like that, which can be good, definitely if you look at some of your old Alpha Flights characters. Also, since he's not unique, you could play 2 Guardians and then they would affect themselves, so his opening attack salvo would be an 11 with 3 for both of those Guardians. So Just something to think about. Moving on to the brokenness, after looking at the whole set, there are two characters that stand out as being hyper broke, and North Star is one of them, and Iron Pharaoh is another. And you'll hear my commentary on Iron Pharaoh, but mainly with North Star, where his shenanigan is that he's 75 points of way hyper efficient. Forget his special power. You're never ever going to use it. Ever. Ever. Okay? Because there's not a good Aurora. All the Auroras are moderate to okay. Like, if you play it just to play it, then okay, good for you. But to get access to Pulse Wave, it's not worth it. Because you're only going to be doing like 1 damage to all your opposing characters. So, anyway, as we're moving on, here's why he's broke. He's 75 points. He has 10 attack and 3 damage with hypersonic speed. And where have I seen numbers like that before? Oh man, if I look through the magic ball of time of heroclix and I gaze at this one figure that everyone said that was broken, oh man, it was Rookie Shazam from Origin. Oh my gosh, what do I see there? Oh, he had an activation click, and he had regen, and he had a Billy click, and people still said he was broken. Oh my gosh. But what's this? North Star comes and slaps Billy upside the back of his head and kicks him to the side for the best, cheapest hypersonic speed character ever. Really, I mean, for 75 points. He's stupid. He's so ridiculously strong that I, who has a postgraduate degree, do not know how to properly pontificate on his brokenness by using enough adjectives, adverbs, and nouns to compound on the brokenness. And I know some people are going to say, well, Dark Logos, you can hypersonic speed in with melee, but he's going to have to be there. That's fine. That's completely fine. But here's where the issue lies in. Oh, I go in and I running shot with Big Gun Guy. Big Gun Guy almost kills target. Oh man, I wish I had 3 damage to finish this character. Zips in Aurora. I mean, I was about to say, oh gosh, I'll say Aurora. It zips in North Star. And there you go. Pretty much North Star is the dirty cleaner. He finishes figures off and then runs back and hides. And if you actually combine him with Gizmo, Gizmo gives you attack powers. And guess what attack power he can get? Oh, let's see. Super strength. Oh, what else could he get? Precision strike. Oh, let's see what else we can get just to mess with people. When he has 2 damage, Blaze Claw's Fangs. And I know, people, you can't use hypersonic speed with Blaze Claw's Fangs, but I do know that you can use Blaze Claw's Fangs with charge. Okay? So, there you go. That little bit of information is awesome. So, when we really look at the brokenness that is North Star, I can almost guarantee you that he's going to be on a Worlds team. His first click is just way too good and way too efficient, and at 13 movement, that's just too strong. That's way too strong. We don't have a Flash this good. That says something. We do not have a Flash that good, and I even had to gasp in the middle of a sentence to really hit that home. Okay, so anyway, North Star, definitely get like 2 of them. I'm not gonna say more than that, but get 2. And I don't know how that Alpha Flight ATA that Patricia Lamb designed is going to turn out, but if it's designed by that super smart woman, then North Star, it's going to be even more deadlier. And I forgot the coup de grace of North Star. He has the hand keyword, so he can use the hand ATA, which means that if he's next to blocking terrain, you can't shoot him. So yeah, North Star, breaking the meta with kids after you fixed it. And you know what's funny? I'm gonna stop after I say this. If you were to take North Star with that hand ATA and put him in a meta against old school, the pre-errata team bases, do I think that he would like auto win against them? No, but I do think you could make something that's scary. Just saying. Okay, moving on to other broke stuff that's going on inside of the set. Not King of the Cheese, but trying to bring Gouda back, and that's not a slam at Clixcast. So just letting y'all know. Anyway, behold Tony Stark with his extremist DNA. Somehow the man has gold in his body, and I don't know. I really don't see how, if a person had that much gold in their body, how they could be healthy. But anyway, going on. He starts off as 70 points of way too expensive, and then he turns and says to Mole Man, "Hey Mole Man, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you." And he can do everything Fred Astaire does, except backward and in gold heels, in jet boots. That's pretty much what he does. So you have Argonaut's special power. Tony Stark can use mind control and stealth. When he uses mind control, he may only target a single character with the armor or robot keyword, but may target friendly characters. So pretty much what this allows you to do is be Mole Man for armor. And that is not right. And let's take that even a step forward. Oh, you can use Tony Stark to mind control master mode. Now y'all know how I love my master mode, right? Y'all know how I love my master mode. But I don't think he should be mind controlled so that he can go and use multi-attack. I really don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good thing for the meta. Now you might say, well, he's way too expensive to play with Master Mode with an Infinity Gauntlet like you normally say, Dark Logos. I know, but man, this is tempting to drop an Infinity Gauntlet and just run him with like a split lip or something. Oh gosh. Tony Stark split lip and Master Mode causing havoc to a venue near you. Anyway, pretty much this that power is broken. I don't like that friendly mind control thing, but hey, Compel was in the meta for years and no people did complain about that. Anyway, Extreme is taking over. When this click is revealed due to taking damage from an opponent's attack, stop turning the dial. Not bad. The Extreme is taking over is pretty cool when you actually read that storyline. I actually like that, but anyway, I don't want to spoil that storyline. Read the actual Extremis storyline, not what Marvel media currently is turning Extremis into, which is, hey guys, how we can give everyone superpowers. That's really it's not fully what Extremis was meant to do. But read the story arc, or at least go and watch the animated graphic novel. Anyway, Extremis healing factor. Tony Stark can use regeneration and toughness. At the beginning of your turn, if Tony Stark hasn't taken damage since your last turn, heal him of 1 damage. This power can't be countered. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, let's see. I have Extremis taking over. If my opponent fails to kill me and I can run away far enough, I heal. Not that next turn, but turn after. Not only that, if I do what I'm supposed to do, which is mind control a whole bunch of little guys, almost kill myself, and then stick to the shadows perplexing, I can heal back up to an outwit and heal back up to 10 attack mind control. So overall, this is really strong. Like, his survivability is way better than I think a support figure should have. Where does he fit in? 300-point games is tough because he's 70 points and he does not do enough as a support with the new negative damage rules to make me justify him saying go 300 all the time, go, 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 go. Considering you have to push to get to his mind control, and you don't have to do that with Mole Man. But Mole Man doesn't have something that can heal himself back up and stop him from dying. So 400 points and higher, I think he's one of those characters that scales infinitely if you design an armor and robot team. Just does. For him to give a character an extra attack, an extra movement, an extra special use of a shenanigan just because their armor or robot is just, it's ridiculous. Anyway, next up is Tony Stark's girlfriend, Pepper Potts, or secretary, just secretary, depending on which era of Iron Man you're reading. And really, when I think about it, I think Pepper Potts not as a romantic, the girl that was always there while Tony was literally sowing his wild oats in the total female population of the Marvel universe. I don't know why Pepper Potts actually hooked up with Tony Stark, because to me, I don't see how a woman that's nice and who has character like Pepper Potts would stay with the man whore that is Tony Stark, that's known for being promiscuous. I don't see that working out. But anyway, I'll leave that alone. So let's look at her trait. I had to rebuild you, Pepper. And if you look at this one in Happy Hogan, it's pretty much like Tony just apologizing. It's like, hey. Bad stuff happened because I'm Iron Man. But don't worry, I use technology. It's all good. When Pepper Potts would be KO'd by an opponent's attack, you may give to an adjacent friendly character named Iron Man or Tony Stark an action token. If you do, replace this character with Invincible Iron Man number 2 Rescue or Invincible Iron Man 202 Rescue on its orange starting line. Now, here's the thing. With this trait, they should have just called this Stand By Your Man. That's really what they should have called it, because that's all it really is. Because there is no reason whatsoever for Pepper Potts to be by herself. Ever. Also, what it allows you to do with this trait is to sort of say, hey guys, guess what? I'm going to use Pepper Potts as a meat shield because she's next to Tony Stark. And because of that, I know that you won't kill her because you don't want to give me a Uber medic. Which is true. So I think like 2 Pepper Potts on a team with a Tony Stark or Iron Man is excellent. And coming in at 35 points, I'll say this: if you were building a serious team using an Iron Man or a Tony Stark, then there's no excuse not to have Pepper Potts, just because of that trait. Just pure and simple. Next up, you have Alter Ego Rescue. And that pretty much is saying that she could turn into the rescues, and that's okay. I mean, she needs it just because she can push and turns into Super Medic with Defend. Because a 7 to a 14 split isn't that great, but a 7 to a 13, I like that. I like that a lot. Now, where I like it a lot more is when I have that 13 Defend and I have Donald Blake right there. See what we got there? Anyway, going on. Let me help you clear your head, Tony. And I don't like the name of that power for a couple of innuendo reasons, but okay. Adjacent characters named Iron Man or Tony Stark can't be targeted by mind control or penetrating psychic blast by characters 150 points or less. Now, this Pepper Potts next to, let's say, Marvel 10th Iron Man is ridiculous. This Pepper Potts next to like old school West Coast Avengers Iron Man is even more stupid dumb. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It really is absurd that Pepper Potts is able to give mind control and psychic blast immunity for 35 points. Now I know everyone's going to say, well, it limits it to 2 characters. Technically, one of the strongest characters and most mass-produced characters within the last 2 years of heroclix is Iron Man. Just is. So to say that she's, relegated meta piece, I strongly disagree. But yeah, I know she has in-cap, and that really doesn't matter. You're hardly ever going to use it. And in all honesty, you should never use it. You should always just be standing there, having her stand there and look pretty and then transform and then be awesome. And you're going to be like, well, that's sort of sexist. And I'm like, if you look at the dial design, it sort of is, because that's all she does is stand by her man, hit somebody with a book, and then heal him. That's all she does. And then, after being used as, a meat shield, she goes off on her own because she was abused. It's a little bit stereotypical, but that's okay. Let's move on. We're going to look at Happy Hogan. Now, why are we looking at Happy Hogan? Because initially, when you look at him, there's very few redeeming qualities about him. You're like flurry and special powers and combat reflexes. Why do I like him? Why did he make my magical list? And it's not because he tasted the rainbow and offered me Skittles. It's not that. It's the fact that he offers a lot of cool things in one very extraordinarily cheap package. First off, he has a trait, I'm sorry, my innovator caused this happy. Innovator caused this happy. Which is again Tony Stark apologizing about bad things that he did with science. When Happy Hogan is healed of 1 or more damage, if he is adjacent to a character named Tony Stark, you may replace him with Invincible Iron Man 003 Freak on its orange starting line. Now, I'm not a fan of Freak, and you can go and look at Freak. But for the pure fact that you can bring in Freak, which is way more expensive, coming in at 62 points, and Freak starts with Charge, Battle Fury, and Toughness. I wish he had Super Strength. He doesn't. That's strong. And then you have his trait on Freak. No, I can't hurt you, my friend. Opposing characters modify their attack values by -2, and damage values by -1 when attacking Freak if they are named Iron Man, Tony Stark, or have the same name as a character friendly to Freak. Now, what this means is, if you want to counter meta some people and you know that some characters are really popular and you want to use Happy Hogan, you're going to push Happy Hogan, heal him next to Tony Stark, turn him into Freak, and then use Freaks to tie up your opponents, and you're going to have a bunch of characters on your team that your fellow people at your venue use too much, and you have pretty much Freak's whole design is a whole essay in counter meta, which I think is excellent. So I have to laugh at that. But back to Happy Hogan, which actually made the list for his merits. So you can pretty much, almost double your points. Then you get the Stark Chauffeur. And this is what I like. Characters named Iron Man or Tony Stark modify their speed value and range values by +1 when they are within 8 squares of Happy Hogan. Now, Why is this a big deal? Think about this. I just read off an Iron Man with an 8 range and 11 movement. So now he has a 9 range and 12 movement. That is a huge swing. That is a lot of board control. Okay? And here's the best part. It stacks to the rule of 3. Because it does not say, if not already affected by this effect line. And I'll read the whole thing. Characters named Iron Man or Tony Stark modify their speed and range values by +1 when they are within 8 squares of Happy Hogan. Doesn't even require line of fire. When Happy Hogan is the pilot of a vehicle, modify the vehicle's defense value by +1. So he gives you added defense to your vehicles, which some of them have some soft defense, I'm not going to lie. But it gives you an incentive for saying, hey, I'm giving up my traded abilities, unless there's going to be like some Stark cruiser or something, which I doubt. But you know, you never know with heroclix. You give up the ability for using, you know, the pilot abilities for a +1 defense. And where that's really cool is when you start looking at one of the most notorious figures in all of heroclix for vehicle purposes, and that is the GCPD motorcycle. So the motorcycle is ridiculously strong. I'm sorry about the water. Again, this cold is really messing with me, so I'm fighting through it. And it's late, and I'm still trying to record so I can get this show out. So I really do apologize about y'all hearing the water or anything else, or me heavy breathing. So, but yeah, Happy Hogan, straight gangster with it, really good. I'm gonna go to Rookie Sasquatch, the Prime, and I'm skipping over normal Sasquatch. He's not that good. Rookie Sasquatch, she is awesome because she has sidestep and blades, which is a great combination. She also has the arrive in your reality trait, was once per game Sasquatch can use hypersonic speed, and you can just pretty much bust that on your opponent at any point in time, and they do not know when it's coming. Then also she has a view from the Pantopacron, whatever, Pantopacron, Omicronopia. Anyway, Sasquatch can use probability control. When she uses it during your turn, she may target a character anywhere on the map. And that in and of itself is awesome, and she starts with it for 99 points. So she's pretty much an attacker. She has an omnidirectional prob that's infinite squares anytime you play on your turn. She has 6 clicks for 99 points, and she can regen and outwit back up to her top dial if you play her at 99 points. I have to say, there is no reason whatsoever to play her at 119. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. No mas. And that's pretty much all I know. So, she can always live, and this is, when you look at her last 3 clicks, there's no excuse for her to die unless your opponent really just piled in on the damage on her, because she has a 12 move phasing with regen and outwit, so she can outwit something and get the heck out of dodge, and very few characters can catch her. So yeah, so Sasquatch Prime, Rookie, awesome. Vet, the vet dial, or experienced dial, bad. Other Sasquatch, really bad. I don't like him. Not worth the points. Now again, people, the Alpha Flight keyword can change everything. It possibly could change everything when that TA comes out, but I can't really rank that right now. Yeah, again, I'm really hoping that Alpha Flight one is awesome. Scrolling on down to Detroit Steel. Now, the only reason I'm bringing up Detroit Steel is that I feel that he's one of those characters that I really want to give him that giant hammer and that 12 attack and have him just running around the board saying "For America," like that's pretty much like all that's all I really want to do with him. It's just running. It's like I shoot you with my gun for America. Now again, don't take it too seriously with the joke. I'm not categorizing a country accent with just pro-gun love. I do know some that aren't like that. I used to live in Oklahoma, so I know about that. Anyway, moving on. The Detroit Steel's major advantage that I feel is he gives some love to those drones and is able to increase their range values by +1 because their range values are really not that good. And overall they're really not that good for the pure factor of, hey, guess what? I didn't mention them. The chain gun for America. Detroit Steel can use energy explosion and precision strike is pretty useful because it's a guaranteed, sort of plink on your opponent, and that can really start to wear down on figures along the game. So you can start looking at his actual realistic damage value is if things set up as is 4 to your opponent and 1 guaranteed to 4 to the direct target and 1 to the adjacent target. The charge exploit transition on click 2 I just think is more funny than anything else. It's not really, in my opinion, something of note. But I do think when you start combining him with a few other elements, he has that potential to threaten that Silver Centurion Iron Man. It's like, hey, buddy, I got exploit weakness. What's up? So for sealed, I think he's actually hyper viable, and he's very threatening. And he has Indomitable, and I think really he's paying a lot in his point cost for Indomitable. He's 7 clicks deep. His stats are okay. His defense is okay. His attack is okay. His movement is nothing stellar, and his damage is pretty good. His damage is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. He only has a 2 on his last click. So I think, and then also improved targeting. He ignores hindering terrain and ignores opposing characters. So yeah, he's paying a lot for improved targeting and Indomitable. And if you took those off, I'm betting that he would be like 110, maybe even like 105. Yeah, he would probably be like 105, and he would still have his special power and his trait. But yeah. So anyway, Detroit Steel, I think he's fun, a little overcosted. I think he has the potential to take on a couple of the major threats in the set. I think you might really have to build a solid team around him, though. But I do think he's viable and fun. Next up is Sasha Hammer, and this, I'm so glad that her stats suck. I'm so glad her stats suck. And you might say, like, well, Dark Logos, why are you happy that her stats sucks? Because her traits are broken. They really are. So let's look at it. Trait number 1, Villainous Lineage. When a friendly character named Crimson Cow, Mandarin, or Justin Hammer is adjacent to Sasha Hammer, they each modify their attack values by +1 if not modified by this effect. Okay, so I can buff pretty much the one that's dangerous is the Mandarin. That's really it, is the Mandarin. And so I pretty much give him a free +1 attack for sitting next to him. All right. Then you have Steal a Dead Man's Armor. When a character with a different name, the armor or robot keyword, and 150 points or less would be KO'd, you may roll a d6. On a result of a 5 through 6, return that character to the map in Sasha Hammer Square on a click number that is the same number of clicks from the starting line as her click number. That character is now a friendly character, and Sasha Hammer is KO'd. Now, why is this broken? Well, what I want you to do is open up your unit section of choice. I want you to type in, that keyword robot. Actually, I want you to type in that keyword armor. Just armor. Because robot is interesting. And then I want you to leave it open for Golden Age. Just leave it open for Golden Age, and of course, that last stipulation, less than 150 points. Okay, less than 150 points. And when numlock does not want to work. There we go. So we're less than 150 points. Let's start listing off. These are just robots. These are just armor people. Just armor, not robots, okay? All of these figures that are quite interesting. You get Iron Mans from the Avengers vs. X-Men. You get Iron Man, Rescue, Guardian, Tony Stark, Detroit Steel, Unicorn, Centurious, Controller, War Machine. All of the Iron Pharaohs and Iron Spirit guys. Just for Iron Pharaoh alone to have a second go around with him. Colossus from Wolverine and the X-Men, Silver Samurai, Prodigy from Fear Itself, Split Lip. Okay, freaking Split Lip, Tab App Elite War Machine, Iron Man from Iron Man movie 3 set, Iron Man Mark 7, which is not bad, at Iron Man Mark 35, Iron Man Mark 42, Iron Patriot from the starter, Iron Man Mark 7, I think is from the starter too, 106, Amazing Spider-Man, Hornet, Prodigy, all of the armor spiders, okay, Rhino, Shocker. Let's go to DC, since I can spend all day on Marvel, okay. Firefly, Teen Titans, Cyborg. Let's see who else. Streets of Gotham, Batman, the Architect from the Batman set, Rocket Red, Batwing, Mr. Freeze, Socialist Red Guardsman, number 59, Batman. Let's see who else. Superman set and Superman Fast Forces, Steel, DC HeroClix 10th anniversary, Blue Beetle. Okay, now that I've made my point, she's broken, and she covers a wide variety, and I haven't even talked about Robot yet. So just that in and of itself is awesome. Really, I think you're just going to keep her on Click 2. Click 1 and 2, and she's just chilling in the back, outwitting what she can, hanging out next to the Mandarin. That's all she's doing the entire time. She doesn't do much else. And I know she has Hammer Industries, and she can get the Hammer Industry keyword and to get that ATA out. And I understand that's awesome and nice and all. But really, she is another Stand By Your Man, except she's in a mech suit and she can shoot things now and then. She starts off in a mech suit. That's a better way of putting it. And that's really it. But her traits are broken. They're and to have them both on one character is the ooh man. WizKids, y'all need to have an intervention. Someone needs to come in and give an intervention to WizKids. Tell that game design to sit down for a little bit and be like, hey, just sit down, take 2 months off, calm down, and we won't have product design for 2 months, but when you come back, you'll be sane. We'll put you through Sandals Resort and Spa, and you'll come back relaxed. You'll get that Jamaican bamboo and all the other good stuff. Anyway, going on. Murder of Crows. Oops, sorry, not Murder of Crows. Scarecrow. Scarecrow. Why is he on my list? 4 Murder of Crows. That's pretty much it. The rest of him is really not that good, and he has the ability to tie folks up, but mainly it's Murder of Crows. Murder of Crows gives Scarecrow a power action if there are no friendly Murder of Crows tokens on the map, and place a Murder of Crows token in an adjacent square. That token becomes a bystander token as described on the back of this card. Now, you would think like, oh, we've had characters that bring in stuff before that's been strong, not broke strong like this. Okay, this character, this Murder of Crows, as it comes out to be, this flock of death, has the following abilities: poison, energy shield deflection, 5 range, and a special power on damage that says taking the shiny. When Murder of Crows hits with an attack, any relic assigned to the hit character is placed in his square. Well, here's the funny thing about relics is that you only can roll for them once per game. So while your opponent might have other characters on their force, guess what? Won't matter too much because that main character that needed that relic won't be able to get it. Now, what does this mean? Oh yes, this sort of puts a good stamping problem on people playing the Book of the Skulls and possibly playing the Phoenix Force. And let me look at the. Is it out? Let me look at the Phoenix Force stuff real quick. Actually, no. Take that back. It won't affect Phoenix Force because it says fragment, so it won't affect that. But man, let me look at the hammers real quick because I could be wrong on the hammers. Nope, never mind. It won't work on the hammers either. I take that back. Hold on, wait. Nope. Relic. Nope. It does. It works on the hammers. So this is the beginning of anti-hammers. This is now. Is it the best? No, but it is scary. So watch out for the Murder of Crows because those suckers want to take you back to some Alfred Hitchcock type gameplay. So better get up on that. Next up is Unicorn, not Unicron, Unicorn. And overall, his stats are okay. He starts off with Sidestep and TK, 7 range, which in this meta is really good. And with Sidestep and 7 range gives him a 9 swing, which is pretty good. Then he has Unihorn. All damage dealt by Unicorn generates knockback. So he has the ability to pretty much keep your opponent's main threatening figure possibly 9 to 10 squares away. Well, I'll say 8 to 9 to 10 squares away if he's able to maximize his range, which is great. And I mean, and he can keep pushing people back, over time. And if you stack unicorns, which I don't necessarily recommend, I think 1 is enough, you should be able to just really push back some characters. Now, I don't think there's a lot of problems with him. I think there probably is going to be like a Magi. I know that they're not trying to say Magi, which if it is, I don't know that story arc. But anyway, the Magi keyword might get a TA, but because there's a lot of them in this set, but I can't guarantee that. I really cannot. Okay, next up is Centaurus. And Centaurus is that high-end, expensive support guy that I talked about in a couple shows ago. And pretty much he has Force Blast, which is primarily a supportish power. Directed mutations. Friendly characters can't be hit by targets. Can't be the target of opposing characters perplexed. Oh man! So he gives your whole entire team perplex immunity from your opponent, which is it's necessary considering now that attack values are like in the realm of auto hit. Once you start looking at Book of the Skull and you start looking at relics and resource dials that's out there, and even a few team abilities, we're in this realm of auto hit land. And so what does Perplex do? Perplex is mainly to do the following: lower damage, lower movement, lower range. Because you really don't have to lower the defense, and lowering attack is almost not worth it, because you're investing 2 to 3 perplexes to negate, their resource dial or relic or whatever else. So to just pretty much say, hey, guess what? I can guarantee my damage, I can guarantee my movement, I can guarantee my range is really good. And in 1,000-point games, I would actually recommend having 2. That's how good I think this effect is. Then he has Evolutionizer. Characters can use Perplex. Centaurus can use Perplex. Man, forget Extremist taking over. It's cold taking over. Cold and flu. Centaurus can use Perplex. When he does, that's weird. He says when he does it. Wow, that's sort of weird. When he does it, he can use it normally. It should be when he does, he can use it normally, but anyway. Or instead modify an attack value by +2. So again, it goes back to, hey, look, if I can get +2 on an attack, I mean, things start to get ridiculous. So that Perplex protection, +2 on attack, yeah, I mean, he's good support. Is he going to win you in 300-point meta all the time? Ooh, that one I can't guarantee. 400 and higher, he's a threat. He's a pure threat. So definitely get up on Centaurus. Next up is Blizzard. And Blizzard's on here mainly only for one power, and that is Snow Flurries. Blizzard can use barrier and energy shield deflection. When he uses barrier, you may also place a hindering terrain marker in the square he occupies. So it allows him to have at range cap defense, which I really like. Also, he has running shot and pulse wave in 6 range and Masters of Evil. So when you look at Blizzard, what is Blizzard? Blizzard is Marvel's answer to Bunker, except not as awesome and a little bit trying to do too much. Okay, why do I say not as awesome and trying to do too much? Well, pretty much Bunker stayed as a purple man. He just had purple powers, and he stayed, sort of in the back. And if you fought against him, he'll knock you into that wall he just put up with Force Blast. But his barriers were permanent, which would allow Bunker to do other things, like possibly tie up figures, move and put out another smoke cloud if he so chose to. I mean, there's a lot of cool things Bunker could do. With Blizzard has to do that every turn, and that's the thing. For 3 to 4 turns in a row, depending on the circumstance, you can just push and push and push due to Masters of Evil and put up barrier. You can have some form of medic behind him, healing him up, and that's cool and all. But really, it was offering Marvel a chance, and also the player base a chance to have another sort of consistent barriering guy. Okay, so I think that's nice. Now, where another redeeming quality about Blizzard is that he has the Thunderbolts keyword. So I'm betting there's some other shenanigan there, but I don't know what it is. Not right now. Just not right now. All right, moving on, and I am going to warn you, I'm going to skip Death's Head mainly because I find him rather boring. And I don't really feel that he has a place in the meta. And the only main reason I'm giving commentary is that I've gotten a lot of emails and conversations about people liking Death's Head. And again, I'm not trying to say like he will never be good. I'm not going to say that. And I'm betting Alex Avila is sitting back and he's like, tisk tisk on you, Dark Logos, tisk tisk. But my major problem with Death's Head is you're paying way too much for him, in my opinion. He has a whole lot of powers that I don't really feel. Well, I mean, I think they're comic accurate from just looking at the flavor of the text, but I don't think that you really need all of them. And I think like having invulnerability and regen at the end, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to get that off. But that expensive combo is weighing down your points. Many ways to kill you, yes. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose either close combat expert or range combat expert. Death's Head can use the chosen power this turn. Because he has access to both, he's paying slightly a higher cost than having just one. And he gets that at the end of his dial. Then he has Side Job. Each time Death's Head hits with an attack and actions resolve, you may deal one unavoidable damage to another friendly character within 3 squares. If you do, Death's Head may be given one action as a free action, but can't attack any characters he already attacked this turn. Which means with a -1 damage and a 11 or a 10 attack, he is going to try to plink another figure. And he can't do a power action, so he can't use many ways to kill you. So on that second attack, so he's doing 2 damage. And again, here's the thing. I will have to say, when he was designed, how he was designed didn't take into account that -1 penalty on that second attack rule. And I understand that he was supposed to be able to do 3 damage in original design. But because of what's going on due to mismanagement and a correction of mismanagement, he's now not viable. Okay. So again, I know I was like, I'm not going to waste your time on figures I don't really like. But really, I understand that this is one of the more popular pieces that gets requests. So anyway. Alright, and for the last major figure that I'm going to talk about before I end this, because we are going on like an hour, so I'm going to wrap it up, is Death's Head, not Death's Head, War Machine. Now, War Machine is the perfect storm that is coming that is going to jack up heroclix. Okay, is he broke strong like Iron Pharaoh or broke strong like North Star? No, but this dude is right on their heels. Yeah, he's right on their heels, and he almost makes me regret that I bought that other War Machine from the Invincible Iron Man. I mean, not from Invincible Iron Man, from the Iron Man movie 3 set. But yeah, I'll take that back. That other War Machine does something different. That other War Machine just sits there and decides what it needs to kill people. This War Machine harkens back to Armor Wars. That's the vibe that I get. That's the spirit that I'm feeling. That this is the roadie that says, you know, all I do is kick butt and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum sort of phrase. So let's break them down. First off, he has the magic golden ratio, 11 attack, 4 damage. This is ridiculous, and you can start to see why I'm saying, like, getting these big 150 point characters anymore in the game is dumb. And I remember when 150 points was like, oh yeah, that was cheap. Getting those 200 and 250 guys are dumb. No, really, spending more than 130 points on a figure is dumb, almost. I mean, just for how solid these characters are at these lower point values. What does he not have inflating his points? Indomitable. What else does he not have? Like Incap and just random precision strike for no reason. You know, he sits and he does one thing well at a time, and that's what you need. Okay, so he has that first click is really what your whole money is based on. And when you shift to clicks 2 and 3, that's when you're like, I need to sit here and snipe. And if you're in a position where you can just sit there and snipe with his magical 8 range, then you're going to do so. But with 11 attack, 11 movement, and 4 damage, his swing is ridiculous. It's major league. It's major league swing. He has a 14 swing. That's better than Darkseid's out there, okay? So, anyway, when he goes to clicks 2 and 3, that is his, hey, I'm sitting here and shooting stuff clicks. Then he goes into Force Blast, and that's the, I'm trying to control the battlefield and get people away clicks. Clicks 6, 7, and 8 are, oh man, things are going bad. Run away, run away, run away. Now, click 7 is that moment that you have to make a decision. And that decision is as follows. Do you run or do you go out like a G? Do you run or do you go out like a G? Now, here's why I say this. You have pulse wave, you have energy shield deflection. And at 16 defense with energy shield will put you at an 18. And if you're lucky enough to land on hindering, that gives you a 19 from range. If your opponent has any sort of melee, guess what? You're dead. Okay. But with a running shot pulse wave with a 4 range and 7 movement, which would give you 4, so that gives you a swing of 8. Okay. That's not bad. And you have 3 damage. So at that stage of the game, just for the pure fact, he has 8 clicks. Stuff should be hurt by the time you get to this phase. You have, like I said, you can go out like a G and die. And bring a couple figures with you probably. Or you can go run. So I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. It all depends on your battle sphere. But Rhodey ain't no punk. Anyway, going on, he has Avengers TA and Shield TA, and he has Avengers Shield, Soldiers, Stark Industries, Armor, and Pilot keyword. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, he's awesome. He's really awesome. And here's the thing: if he didn't have a trait, I would have said he's one of the best designed heroclix that they've made. But he has a trait. Veritable threat adaptation. At the beginning of the game, choose a standard power. When an opposing character attacking War Machine can use the chosen power, modify its attack and damage values by -1 for that attack. Oh my gosh, you have Psychic Blast. -1 damage and attack. Oh my gosh, you have Exploit Weakness. -1 damage and attack. Precision Strike. -1 damage and attack. What? Wait, hold up. You have Super Senses. -1 damage and attack. You have Impervious. -1 damage and attack. You have Hypersonic Speed. -1 damage and attack. Like, if you just pick that one power that just ticks you off. Oh, Brother Voodoo, I pick Mind Control. -1 damage and attack. There you go. Oh, Omen's on the other end of the field. Oh, I'll pick Perplex. -1 damage and attack. So, anyway, this ends part 1, going into part 2. And you're going to hear probably a more tired, a little grumpier me. So just be aware of that. Have pity on that man. His computer was having problems and he lost an hour of recording. Okay. So anyway, real quick, big shout out to Jesse. I was about to forget before, who sent me a pretty good email about Lord of the Rings. And I hate to tell y'all, I am not into Lord of the Rings. Just not a Tolkien fan as much. I watched the movies, though. I watched the movies. But I'm not really into the Lord of the Rings heroclix. Really, I can't do it. It's just too much money. And I don't like some of the stuff, so. Anyway, also big up to my man Howard Brock. And y'all should hit him up and say hey to him on AC Realms. Man is probably one of the hardest working men in heroclix, and he doesn't even get paid for it. So hit him up, say thanks for all that he does for Realms Open Championship. So yeah, hit me up on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space, brought me War Machine in a magical Christmas bag, and then I played him and raffle stomp people. You will know if a show will be late, like I did last night when I recorded, and let everyone know that the show would not be out on Friday. You can also hear my random words, my jibber jabber. You can hear my random words of wisdom, and whenever I decide to put them up. Also, you can subscribe. YouTube doesn't like me that much. I'm usually at the bottom of your queue, but oh well. Then you can also check out the blog. If we'll be back, I just need to do it next week. And just someone just poke me like, yo, man, you need to do a blog. Email me or something. Speaking of email, you can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it whatever. So, yeah. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to having you listen to me in part 2.
I'm into comic books, figures on the wall. She's into looking good, Vicky C's got along. And she loves my flaws, yeah, she's not ashamed. I'm a Peter Parker, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. I'm a Peter Parker, she's my Mary Jane. I'm a big nerd around her, but she's cool around me. Never knew how she found me. Electric, but she grounds me. And she loves my flaws, she accepts them all. When the darkness comes, I will get the call. I will swing down to save her.